So welcome to another episode of the EO Johannesburg Accelerator sessions, where we shine the spotlight on one of our Accelerator members, talk about their business, their life, and about the influences or influencers that shape who they are today. And today we're fortunate to have Leigh and Acquisto, the owner and MD of Licorice Inc. Communications, join us for a chat. Leigh, thanks for giving us some of your time.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Maybe first speak to me about the name of the business. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. Just before I jumped ship from corporate at Hunter Scaris, I was chatting to my executive creative director. And at that stage, I'd already made a decision to start my own business. And we were kind of spitballing a few names. And we were actually eating licorice all sorts. And so it was kind of, we started talking about the licorice all sorts. And the insight there was that, people either love them or hate them, but everybody's got an opinion about them. And there was something quite cool in that. So the name licorice really came out of that discussion. And then the ink part is the pen is mightier than the sword. I am a strategist. I do a lot of writing. So that's really kind of the story behind the name. So the sweets have just kind of stuck.
How did you get to this point of starting a brand building marketing agency? And why did you choose that route? What's the story there?
So I actually started studying law after school. And when I qualified, kind of realized that it really was not something that I could see myself doing for a very long time. So I took a bit of a sabbatical. I backpacked Europe and Asia by myself for about 2 years, just under. I ran out of cash and then my dad yanked me home. And I think part of that journey was just really spending time with lots of different people from different walks of life. And I really became fixated with what makes people tick, why they choose the things that they choose, why they associate with the companies and the brands that they do. And I'm quite a social person by nature, which kind of goes hand in hand with what one assumes the advertising industry is about. So I came home and did an honors in brand strategy and management, and then started interning at some of the bigger consultancies, learned quite a bit from some really amazing people in the industry, had the opportunity to work on brands across the continent, which was really awesome. And then I jumped ship to advertising because my kind of thought process there was to say, well, you develop the brand, you build the brand, and then you've got to communicate the brand. So I wanted to learn the other side of the process. And I had quite an fast career at TBWA. I was there for quite a while, but I ended up heading their strategy department quite quickly. And I did that for about 6 years, where we were responsible for about 50 brands across the continent and a team of about 18 at one point, strategists. And I think, the reason for me moving into my own company was really, in a big creative environment, strategy has a very specific role and a very specific space. And that is to enable amazing creative thinking, which is one part of the process of building a brand and really being effective as a business. But my passion really lies in the other aspects of it. The creative side is one, but really developing strong, purposeful brands requires so much more than just amazing advertising. And there really wasn't room for those types of discussions back then in agency. I think that has changed subsequently. So I started a company that very specifically focuses on strategically developing, designing, and communicating brands within given markets across a variety of tactics. So it's almost channel agnostic, and not to use jargon, that just means, so that the brand has the ability to communicate across any platform, any channel, in a way that somebody or the desired person will understand what that message is.
So how long did you say the business has been going now?
So this is our 11th year.
11th year. And I guess over those 11 years, how do you think it's changed or evolved? Or perhaps it hasn't. Maybe you've been able to kind of stick to that original vision from the beginning.
No, I've veered off path quite a lot. If I'm honest, I think like all entrepreneurs, when customers walk through the door and go, "Can you do this thing?" You go, "Sure, of course I can," and then you learn how to do a different thing. And I think what happened in the first kind of 5 years of the business is I was not as focused as I could have been, purely because there was such a need to get revenue into the company. So the business morphed from like being a strategic consultancy to then being a bit of a small agency with a creative component, to then being a bit of a media and strategy agency. So we've kind of tried all sorts of models, just based on the client base that we've had over the years. And I think we've had some very big successes. We've worked with some amazing brands like MTN. We launched their fiber to home brand, Supersonic, and that was from inception to market. We were their full-blown agency. To really interesting clients like Investec, who we just worked with as a strategic partner.
There being the strong element of building brands and probably more importantly, cultures for your clients. Have you been able to do that at Licorice? And I assume it's been this vital component to the longevity of the business.
Yeah, so I think, nobody cares about the brand until you try to touch the brand, which has really is really the one learning for me. It's got to be a very consultative process. Branding is very emotional, even though a lot of people will kind of say they buy a product because of the functional elements of that product. If you think about the brands that you surround yourself with, the majority of that decision is not because it's got better bits and bobs inside the box. It really connects with different aspects of who you are, your value system, who you aspire to be. And that's really, for us, where the magic happens with clients, is that, really getting to understand the business of their business and the intention behind what they're trying to do, and crafting the right language around the brand so that that becomes clear to the person purchasing or engaging with that brand. So we've had, great opportunities to do that. And I think we've done it quite well over the years. And then the other part of that is, the best brands in the world really are built from the inside out. It's your people that will make or break that brand experience.
Yeah. Is this something that you have been able to almost put your finger on from a Licorice Inc. perspective as to how to build that internal culture and brand love for your business?
Yeah, look, I think with our experience, it's the most authentic kind of narratives that win. There's something in telling the truth, not trying to be too clever and not trying to be too creative. It really is about the soul of that business. And sometimes I think companies do try and dress that soul up as really being exciting and innovative and cutting edge. And, it's about the salad bar and the furniture. And, it's really, that helps in certain aspects. But I think, when people understand that they work for an authentic business, and that they can stand by that credibly, in the face of their customers and with the stakeholders they have to deal with, it goes a long way to build loyalty within the organization. I think the worst thing you can do is try and get your people to go out there and spin a tale that they know is not actually true. So I would say for me, it really is about, really understanding what your authentic purpose is. Doesn't matter how it sounds on paper, but what your authentic purpose is, and explaining to your people why that's important and why that defines the business of your business. And that's what really starts to create valuable, meaningful brands.
Are you able to highlight some of the facets of your life or even your personality that drove you to keep going and to take some of the risks that you needed to take to start and build a business? If you have any of those at hand, what would those be?
It was actually quite interesting. I'd just gotten my first proper kind of medium weight strategy job at a consultancy called Enterprise IG. And 1 week before I was going to start, I got diagnosed with cancer. And I had to walk into my new boss and sit him down and go, well, hey, just so you know, I start chemo in 2 weeks' time. And fortunately, he was an incredible man, and it was an incredible company, and they really supported me through that period. But I think going through an experience like that changes the way that you look at the world and changes your patience around waiting for the world to deliver building a business has taught me so much. I mean, the hardest part for me has been learning the business of running a business. I mean, I can position brands, I can design brands, I can talk branding until the cows come home. But, when it comes to every other aspect of what makes the business work, that was very unfamiliar territory for me. And when you're doing it all on your own in the beginning, it becomes incredibly, incredibly overwhelming. So, yeah, I think just the experiences that I've had, and also the ability to not take myself too seriously. Like, it's okay if today is a bad day. It's okay if we lost the client, but as long as we fail fast and we learn fast and we don't fail twice, then it's okay.
So Leanne, I mean, I think the history of how you got here is fascinating and so interesting, and thank you for sharing that. Anything on the horizon? Anything that we can look out for? Big milestones that you're hoping to achieve that we can keep an eye on?
Yeah, so we've actually got a very exciting project on the go at the moment, and it's really about creating a social communication, marketing, and branding platform for entrepreneurs that'll enable entrepreneurs to do it themselves, essentially give them the skills to build their brand, position it, learn how to market and communicate it, have access to tools that'll enable them to brief agencies if they do work with them. Because I think the one thing that we've realized is, owner-run companies don't really have the time to perfect these skills. And sometimes they get very frustrated even when engaging with suppliers in our industry because they don't know how to. So really the intention behind this platform, and it'll be a membership-based platform, is to give entrepreneurs access to the right tools in the right type of format that can either empower them to do it themselves or empower them with enough knowledge to be able to engage with a freelancer, small agency, etc., and get the right product out of them. So that's really exciting for us.
That is,
and we're hoping to launch in the next couple of months.
Super exciting. Thank you. I'm looking forward to that. But Leanne, thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck, and we're so excited to watch your business grow and achieve these new milestones. It's been great to chat to you.
Thank you, and thanks for giving me the opportunity. Take care.